Hello, this is Krenstar, and today I am messing around with more effects. This time with a little help of VCVRack, and I got actually two tracks using the same CS80 type of instrument. Basically, I got this funky lead. Let me turn off the thing. I'm gonna mess with the effects of this. And in the video prior to this one, I created like a delay thing with the 80 controls. I'm kind of doing the same thing except for a lot more parallel. So I got this abomination in VCVRack, which is basically a kind of a super a more support. How do I put it? It's like Bitwig's grid, but with more modules into it, and a lot more you can do with it. But same type of concepts. So you take a sound source and you can modulate it and put it in these modules and do different things. So basically the concept is I have these VCAs over here. All they do is that they open a gate and they close it. Open a gate and they close it. And how they open the gate and close it? Well, that's these ADSR things right here that sends over the information over to the VCAs to say, hey, open the gate only for a little bit to let in the sound and then immediately close it. And then the ADSRs, as you can see, they're moving. That's these LFOs up here, and I got quite of a wild setup here. That basically they're different frequencies, they're different LFOs, so some of them go fast, some of them are going slower. I got FM on some of them that should help with changing around how they're flowing. And I just noticed that the FM's not there. And then all of that routes into these VCAs, into these separate effects, and this is kind of the kit and caboodle of what we're doing here. Is that we're trying to produce grains, and then we're trying to put those types of grains into different processors, a phaser, a frequency shifter, the delay here for the it's basically just a ping pong lo-fi delay here, and then a couple of reverbs, and then I got it panned on each side and then going out to the main. So kind of complex. But realistically, all I'm doing is I'm splitting the sound from an ADSR that's going wild here, as you can see, and then throwing each of those types of grains, quote unquote, I'm using air quotes right now, into different effects to give you different types of sounds on those grains. So with it off. If you're using headphones, you can hear the separation. Two of the grains are going to the left, two of the grains are going to the right. And you get sort of an ambient sort of sound to this. And there's all kinds of ways you can use this to so overall pretty cool. All right, so if you didn't want to do it in VCVRack, you don't have it, or it's too complex, here's what it looks like in Bitwig. I wanted to do this in a FX layer because it's kind of the same thing, parallel processing. I have a bunch of these tools set up, and each one of these tools have an ADSR. We have ADSRs down here. Those are controlling each of these tools that control the volume. So basically, it's an envelope. It opens up, it closes. And basically it opens up the volume and closes the volume based upon what it does. And so each of these LFOs across here are all the attacks, and across here are all the decays. So basically each one of these are being governed by those attacks and decays. So if you look at the attack and decay, that's of this row. So for this one, this row, this one, this row, and so on and so forth right here. So that ultimately goes in the tool, and then at the end of it, each one of these I got different effects down the chain. So each one of the grains has a different effect going for it. So if I I was messing around with the fragments because this bottom one is just a pure, should be a pure one without any actual any ADSR or attack or decay type of things. It's not changing as these are. These should be changing. So as you can see, when I hit the button, you see the blue because basically it goes through the AD and the basically the envelope, and then down here there's actually no envelope. So pretty cool. So the basic concept is that I wanted to demonstrate is kind of applying sort of the granular technology or separating the sound into more little bitty parts of sound, throwing that all in parallel and applying the effects to each one of those quote unquote grains, and seeing what it actually sounds like. And it sounds as probably chaotic as I thought it would be, but wanted to test it out and show something like that, what it would look like. Pretty cool for plugs and using the different plugs and different delays. Mostly with most granular instruments is that when they separate the grains, it all goes back through the same processing pipeline. So it gets separated. It may have maybe an effect or two on applied on it, maybe not, but when it comes out of that VST or whatever, it's all going through the same pipeline. So what I wanted to try and think about is applying different effects processing on the grains that are coming out, quote unquote grains. Obviously, this is a poor man's granular synthesis here, but basically the little snapshots of sound, what it would sound like if we were to be able to apply different effects to each one of those sounds in a parallel processing type of system. So overall, pretty cool, pretty interesting. So, at any rate, hope you liked the video. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and I will see you later.